Deer jerky
Yeah, they
look
make
good.
deer
What's
jerky
your-
out of their deer. Huh?
Okay, go ahead there, Madam Chairman.
I think right now they're muzzle loading right now, I believe.
No, it's
deer season.
deer
Yeah.
season, long gun season.
Yeah, well, I ain't know. I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't ever get up when Bruce goes home.
You gotta wrap.
It is time to past time to get our public hearing started, so I'd like to, in absence of our chairman, which he may have forgot about this, but I'd like to call the meeting to order, and our agenda for our public hearing is on the emergency ordinance to allow for the continuing of government operations during the pandemic, including altering the process of conducting public meetings, restricting the use of public buildings or facilities, providing additional powers to the Director of Emergency Management to incur costs, waive procedures, and take over temporary actions, and suspending deadlines and procedures. And if anyone, you got the line open for call-ins on this? If anyone would like to call in on our for public comment on this, it's 276-333-0357. Or if there's anyone in the audience that would like to have comment on this, we will take those for a short period of time.
Madam Chair, if I may, if I can give just a brief explanation
Yes.
of what this is for you as well as the public.
Yes.
Madam Chair, there is obviously a pandemic issue all over Virginia, all over the nation, and some states and regions are being hit harder than others. There is a process that this board can utilize if you get to the point where there is a severe pandemic, COVID pandemic in Davidson County. You would have currently the option that you have to have your meetings, to have social distancing, and people wear a mask. And that is the option that you have. If there is an outbreak, severe outbreak, there is another option, which is this ordinance that you would have in front of you, which allows every member of the Board of Supervisors to stay at their home and to have a virtual meeting. That virtual meeting is done electronically. That electronic meeting, I've talked to the staff at the IT department, and they're prepared and will be ready to have all the IT networking and set up to allow you all to do that from your home in case that it's not safe for you to come to a meeting. So this is what this allows you to do. It does in no way supplant or take away your right to have these meetings if you see fit, or if there's no real urgency to protect yourselves and your families, then you may continue to use the same process that you have. But if, once you got this ordinance, then the chair and this board would have a right at some point in time then to utilize electronic meetings, but give appropriate notice as required by the ordinance. And in addition, what this ordinance also does allows the restriction to the use of the public buildings, facilities, and provides additional services to the Director of Emergency Services, and he's here tonight to allow him to procure various emergency services or emergency, I guess it would be PPE or other types of emergency supplies that you need without going through procurement. So that allows him to do that, and allows it to suspend deadlines and procedures that you have. And so if there's some deadlines or procedures that you're required by statute to meet, it would allow you to suspend those if you so desire. And that's to your discretion. So this is an emergency ordinance. It is good for 6 months. At the end of 6 months, you may renew this ordinance as well. And it has to be renewed, but it will expire in 6 months. And it's not good forever. It expires in 6 months, and if you so desire in 6 months, you may renew it by simply passing a resolution to renew it. I hope and pray you don't have to use it.
We're doing this with Cumberland Plateau. And we did it with Vaco too.
Okay. And if the trends continue, Southwest Virginia is going to have potentially a lot of cases in December and January if they continue. that way they are.
Pay on
Sounds
the
like there's
phone.
a vaccine will be available.
I say, just check, see if there's anybody on the
Soon,
phone, nobody on the
hopefully.
phones.
Well,
That's
if you
the
will.
audience.
I hope and pray so.
Okay.
That's the, help y'all.
They say it'll be in the spring. for a
Does
little
anyone
bit.
in the audience have a comment? Anything they'd like to say, Richie or anybody on this?
Blame you, I wouldn't say anything either. I would think we're probably okay to close.
Okay.
We've left it open for 5 minutes, and I thank you, Mr. Phillips, for that explanation. We
Yeah.
got a lot of weird things that we're having to do in
Yeah.
2020, and this is just another one of them.
I make a
I was
motion that we
reading that
adjourn the
yesterday and I
public
thought, oh,
hearing.
goodness. I know. At this time, we will close our, do we need a,
I made a motion that
Kelly
you
made a
close the public
motion,
hearing.
All
I'll
right.
second it.
all right, we have a moving second to adjourn our public hearing. Roll call vote or just everyone say aye?
Aye.
Aye, aye also.
It's
Ready?
just now 6.
We'll call this regular monthly meeting of the Dickinson County Board of Supervisors to order. Note that all members are present, including County Attorney, Mr. Bud Phillips, and County Administrator, Mr. David Moore, as well as Madam Clerk, Teresa Lyle. If that's okay with everyone, we may open the meeting with a brief moment of prayer. We'll bow our heads together. Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to join together here as a free people and a governing body here for Dickinson County. I ask that you bless this meeting and bless each one of us as we make decisions for the betterment of the people of Dickinson County. I ask a special blessing on each household that's represented here as we move forward into the holiday season. And it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Ron, if you don't mind to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Move on to item number 3. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes in their packet? There's no discussion or comment regarding the meeting minutes of October the 12th and October 27th. I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Move on to item number 4. David, is there any additions or subtractions or modifications to
I
the
do have
agenda?
one addition. We need to add item 11A. That's for our health insurance renewal. If you remember at our workshop, we had the information and you all wanted to table that till tonight. So we need to have a decision made on our health insurance renewal there. That's the only item I have as a change. I have no deletions.
Are we going to take up the Cumberland waste management issue?
Yeah, we could. So that make that 11B.
I thought we was deleting 20 and 21. Oh,
Well,
we're on additions now.
Yeah, well,
Sorry
yeah,
about that.
that's up to you.
right.
I'm not aware.
We
of-
could just leave it, I mean, as far as that goes, or whatever.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's up to anybody else, but
What did you say 11B
Okay,
was?
11B will be discussion of,
the tire cutter issue.
Okay,
yeah, we'll just call it discussion of tire cutter.
okay.
And I don't know, are you, I will explain the reason for items 20 and 21 being done or looked at in November is due to our lead time in getting letterhead, because we have to send letterhead back to the press and get it back. That can be 4 to 6 weeks. So in order to have it back before January the 1st, we usually try to go ahead and have the decision decided. The person, whoever, if there's changes to the chair and vice chair, they do not start till 1/1/21. But it allows us to go ahead and have the preliminary stuff so that we can have the letterhead changed.
No problem.
Makes sense. Does anybody have any other modifications or suggestions or anything with the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda with the modifications that Mr. Moore indicated?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda with the 2 additions.
Any other discussion? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye also. Number 5, David.
Okay, and in your packets, we have the financial update for, this will be the month of September. We'll probably continue to run a month behind just with having the bump up in meetings, trying to get audits closed and stuff, and closing out books for each month. It's a little hard to get done by the 15th or so. So this financial summary for the current fiscal year, which started June 1 of 2020 and runs through July 1st of 2020 through June 30th of 2021. For the month of September, general county fund year-to-date revenue was $1,315,237. Expenditures were $2,529,519. Year-to-date through the end of June, revenue is $5,374,202. Expenditures are $9,727,620. Local coal and gas road improvement fund for the month of September, revenue was $283,010. Expenditures were $152,116. Year-to-date, revenue is 923,898. Expenditures are 418,776. E911 fund for the month of September, revenue was $21,007. Expenditures were $37,122. Revenue, $65,246. And expenditures were $151,984.
Running pretty low, aren't we?
Well, I went back and looked that gap, that general fund gap through the 3-month mark. I looked at the previous 5 years. That number has ranged anywhere from negative 3.6 million up to negative 4.3 million. So it's on the high end of the deficit run, but it's not grossly out of line with things that we see. You just do not collect a lot of revenue in July, August, and September. You have a lot of early front-paid expenditures that happen in July and August, so you start behind. Your first real snapshot of what you'll look like will be the numbers you get probably late January or early February when you look at December. Your 6-month numbers are really the first good snapshot you have as far as how you're going. But I haven't seen October severance yet, but I updated you last month. You know, that coal severance is right on the precipice of being 100%. Gas severance is really in a drag. So,
Well, I'm hopeful we're gonna look good next month. I paid my taxes today.
well,
I paid mine.
you start to see an uptick in the November numbers with
I
that.
did
You'll see
too.
some in
Take a long
October.
time.
November brings a good, and then by the time you get through December, you've gotten through that first collection. That's your first good show of what you're looking like. And so while the numbers are ugly, that's not grossly out of line with what we've seen in previous years. If there's nothing else as far as the financial report, we had asked Rita to be here tonight. She's got a very nice looking, what we call that, plaque. Yeah, and she would like to say a little bit, and I think Josh should recommend maybe we have a picture.
We could too.
Yeah, we'd love to do that.
Because Rita loves
yeah.
taking pictures.
I'm here on behalf of our ACT Work Ready Committee, and Denisha had planned on coming with me because she's actually been pretty much our spokesperson with all the things we have done, but I think most of you all attended our event last year. We were certified actually last year in November, and we had an event here. Y'all came. I'm sure you
Yeah, I remember,
when we had someone from the governor's office. But anyway, so we just got this plaque last week, and we were the first, Dickinson County was the first county in the whole region to get this certification. And I looked at the map today, and we're still the only one. And there are a lot of other counties working on it, but they haven't accomplished it yet. We have worked with the workforce and several others in doing this, and especially the school with all the training for the work keys, tests and things they're doing on the students. But actually, we're going into our next year right now, and with the COVID, it's kind of put a hindrance on us, but we're hoping to get an extension that we can continue on so we don't lose our certification. We worked really too hard to get it, so we sure don't want to lose it. Another thing, hopefully, down the road, which I had talked, I think, to Dave and Josh both about it, maybe we can get some signs, putting up at our entrance to the county saying that we are a certified work-ready community, which is it's an asset that we have that. So I'm hoping maybe we can talk to Cassie and see if, we can get some kind of sample. It wouldn't have to be fancy or anything, just showcasing that, so. But anyway, okay, I want to
thank you so
present this,
much.
so y'all want a picture?
Let's stand, y'all wanna get up here and,
And,
is that all right?
can I get, maybe
Yeah.
Lisa, take one of us?
I guess.
Yeah.
We may as well.
Politically correct.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Okay, I'm thinking I was gonna take a picture too.
Well, I told you all.
I want red.
Well, we can wear a mask.
Probably.
They'll
I didn't
show
mean
that
to interrupt the whole meeting.
Yeah, I
This
guess
is-
you could.
No, that's all right.
It's-
We reorganized
Yeah,
all
take
night.
pictures.
We'll take it off.
Tracy, if you don't care. You
Y'all gonna wear
want me to take
masks?
it out of this place?
Okay.
Or we do
I
it
think
the way
you
it is?
should.
You want me to take it out
You
one
wanna
way?
join us, Rita?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Get
present
in,
it to you, I guess.
get in the
Let me
middle of
take it out of here so it looks Look how nice this is. Where you gonna put it? Where y'all gonna put this? Somewhere everybody see it. We're very proud of it.
There you go, you just stand right
Here,
there.
hold it.
Can you get us all in, David?
Get over
Good?
close to it.
Can you see David?
Can't see David.
Come right here,
You wanna
David.
hold it? Somebody-
Sure, I'll
Yeah,
hold it.
David, you're on
Get
our
right here,
committee
David.
too, I
All
think.
right. Got
Are you
everybody?
ready? Yeah.
Smile.
We can.
Like it.
Take two or three.
Yeah,
please.
smile.
Take two or three. Photos, Charles.
We need a mask with a smiley face on it.
Yeah, get Bud, come here, Bud.
No,
Yeah.
you all did this. The caption's gonna read in the newspaper, they're all smiling.
Very good,
Congratulations.
thank you.
We're proud of this, Dave.
Very good.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give you this.
Okay, thanks,
Go through
Teresa, appreciate it. All right, thank y'all.
Yeah.
Somebody look back.
Thank you, Rita.
What they had them there?
Get my
Must
breath.
have been robbed the county. Robbed the county.
Rita, thank you.
Thank you, Rita.
All right.
Thank you, Rita.
Did you ever get that
Thank you
solar
very much.
panel that we was supposed to?
I
Is
guess
there
all
anything
you
else,
need-
David?
I guess all you need to do is accept the report. I don't have anything else at this
Call
point.
him again.
I make a motion that we accept the county administrator's
I had to go
report,
back and get
financial
it, yeah.
report.
There a second? Or any further discussion on the administrator's report? I'll second it. All those in favor of the county administrator's report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye also. Expenditures, item number 6.
If there's no questions concerning the expenditures, I make a motion that we pay all three, the general county fund, 911, and the coal road and gas improvement fund.
Is there any questions or comment in regard to Ms. Willis's motion? Is there a second to her motion?
I'll second it.
All those,
Shelby and I.
all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Item number 7, everybody's favorite category, the roads. Start, I guess, with Miss Willis's district, the Kennedy district. I don't see anybody
I don't
here.
have anybody in Kennedy. I call the roads in every day, so.
Clintwood district, anybody here from the Clintwood district have any road issues they want to bring up?
One, I'm not sure, south of the Mountain Road.
That'd be mine. You can go ahead, though.
I had a couple people ask me to bring it up tonight. Walter Bottom Road. I guess it's gonna be about 4 miles.
Where that,
I know exactly where that is.
4 miles on the left. Carol Fleming has a little trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Road and fields. Road's dropped off a little bit. A creek runs right along that road. It's pretty rough shape. It's dropped down probably 4 or 5 inches.
Hey, Rhonda, you got one there at B&K also that's dropped.
oh, has it?
Yeah, and all they do is put asphalt in, it just drops again.
Okay, I'll try to call them tomorrow.
Yeah, it's right there at B&K.
Right there at B&K.
Mhm.
Anybody else from Clintwood?
I thank you for that, and, I just called them, and they came out, you know. That's wonderful. I wish I could get the same response.
Me too. The Irvington district, anybody here from the Irvington district?
I also have another one, I was asked, Fink, Matthew Fink, maybe?
Pro-
And then North Hazel, before you get to the end of North Hazel, turn left hand, it goes out there about a mile.
I believe it's Robert Phillips Road.
Log cabin at the end. He complained about potholes. Several potholes on that road, very deep. I noticed myself, and I told him I'd do it.
Haven't seen no number on my caller ID, and, you know, for me to call anybody back. But, okay.
Anybody else from Irvington? Sand Lake District? Anybody from the Sand Lake District? Ron, turn the floor over to you.
Terry, anything? What about you, Richie? Scotty's not here tonight, I'd ask him.
He'll be here in just a minute.
Okay. It might be too late, but he can give it to me anyways, I'm good.
Anybody from the Willis District? Hearing none, we'll move on. I don't think we need any
Ask
sort
on
of
the
motion.
telephone.
Are we allowing calls for road concerns, Mr. Phillips? I'm not sure that we are we?
In public comment, you can take.
All right, so we can,
Oh,
if
okay.
anybody, so if
Okay.
anybody has a road concern, they can
Okay,
call
that's-
the
That's fine.
276-333-0357 once we get to the public comment portion of the meeting. So I'll move on to item number 8. David?
We had put this on there, I had updated you before, we were going to seek to refinance the rural development part of the judicial center debt. So we went through the RFP process and had no takers. No banks were willing to take it wasn't really the amount, it was the term, because you're trying to basically convert a 30-some year debt into a 20-some year return. So what Davenport has asked me to tell you is that come spring, the VRA bond pool will be opened up. If rates continue to stay where rates are today, they would still project we could see a considerable savings and be able to reduce the length of time. But as of now, since there's no bank option for refinancing that debt, our next best option is to wait till the spring bond pool with VRA. And they would be back in touch probably somewhere in February, March, in order to look at that as an option. So for now, we're just going to hold tight and not do any refinancing, and we'll just see what happens in the spring.
Sounds good. So we don't need any action.
No action items on that.
Anybody have any questions on that? Move on to item number 9. I see Ms. Hall. I'm sorry. I was going to say swindle and probably shouldn't have. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I forwarded everything to David. I think that was late on the evening of the 4th. So you guys should have the contract from Hurt and Profit in your packet, maybe?
Yes.
Okay. So in that contract, he detailed and outlined the whole process. The one lump sum of the $40,000 for the base layer of the parcel mapping. And then he also provided a yearly maintenance contract of $2,500 or an hourly rate of the $85, depending on how that was decided upon. One addition that he wanted me to inform you all of was that during the process, like when they're working on everything, they do provide a secure link to a WebGIS-based product that lets everybody who would have access to that, you guys, myself, whoever we allowed access to follow along with the project and see how that's going. And if there's any questions on certain areas, we can surely get those answered immediately. But they do provide a web link, secure web link that will let you follow progress. So I don't know if you all have any questions.
I have one.
Okay.
And there may not be any way around this anyways, but on the back page, the last page, it talks about third-party data services, web services, then it goes, any programming code or developed software to complete the service specified would remain their property if we didn't use them for the continued service. And that may be okay, I just want to make sure, because I don't want us to be into some proprietary thing that if something happens and we end up in another company, it can easily.
And pretty much what they're talking about with like third-party software is any software that is developed or that they pull in to use, they would have control of that. So like if they were to if somebody was to develop a web app or whatever that would help control that project, if we chose to go with somebody else for maintenance, we wouldn't have access to that web-based product anymore. Does that make sense?
No, and I think that's probably fine. I just want to make sure that we're not going to be left with a piece of our system that we can't use
Right.
without their application.
If I might, Mr. Chairman, it deals with, as the gentleman was saying, it deals with proprietary code and documents and that they have, that they procure from other individuals, not themselves, and they have to sign an agreement once they get those proprietary documents or proprietary program, that they cannot, they can use it for their purposes, but they cannot give it to anybody else to use.
No, and that's another side of it. Yeah, you're right. That's expected too. I just wanted to make sure that we're not in a position that because otherwise I'm fine with it.
What about the fiscal side of this, David? Is we're gonna rob Peter to pay Paul, or what we?
Unfortunately, you know, we've tried to kickstart this process multiple times. This will be at least the third time since I've been here. We've tried to do this. First we're looking at outside, then we actually were doing it internally through an employee that we sent, trained her, got everything done. That sort of fell apart, blew up on us. We are so deficient in this area. I mean, I think it's one of those things. It's $40,000 that, you know, do you have it? You've seen the numbers as well as I do. They're not pretty, but I think a commitment needs to be made to upgrade the mapping here. We're just so deficient in this area, and it's one of those services that we're in the 21st century. We're 1/5 of the way through it now, and if we just keep kicking the can, I mean, we're only getting further and further behind.
Yeah, I don't have any concerns. I just voice that just to
Sure.
be on the safe side. And thank you, Bud, for your
Yeah,
answer.
I mean, financially, it'll be one of those, something will have to go down the road, but as far as, I don't see how we can continue to not address this, so.
I agree.
As to form, it is acceptable as to form, Mr. Chairman. The only thing that you have to make a determination is to
Spend the money.
determine your funding.
Does anybody else have any questions on this? Or-
Does do we have to choose whether it's a yearly contract or an hourly contract? Or is our vote just on paying that upfront fee?
I assume we decide that at the end of the annual. Or once it's done.
Basically, what you are deciding tonight is that $40,000 lump sum, because that will happen in phases, and you're looking at several months, if not year longer, before the maintenance part would come in.
Does anybody have any other questions for Ms. McCamus or David? Are there any motions?
I'll make the motion that we appropriate the $40,000. I don't see, as David says, I don't see kicking it down the road any further. We're just lagging way behind other counties. And we'll come up with money somewhere.
Is there a second? Well, I mean, it's hard.
I
Spending
know,
this
but
kind of money, you know, and it's not like it's that much money, but when you're looking at the revenue and expenditure gap that we've seen every month after month after month, it does give me heartburn, especially with the budget upcoming very soon. We all know we'll be in these budget meetings before we know it, but I'll second the motion. I agree. I think this is something that we need to do, and it's been a long time coming, and if we want to see serious development long-term in the county, this is something that we need to do. I mean, for your real estate transactions, for your business people looking at Dickinson County, this is something that I think we need to do. If we want people to take us serious, we're going to have to present serious. So I'll second it. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
You look scared for a minute, but you're fine.
Her grandmother
Well, how much
passed
will that
away.
increase
Yeah,
this,
I'll get with
increase
Bud
your
and we'll make
workload, Kathy?
Ultimately, probably 25% initially, just helping them get the tax records.
But you're gonna be pretty busy helping, providing them this information, aren't you?
We do have access to the interns at Mountain Empire, and they can
Okay.
help a lot with that. And they're allowed, I think, 50 hours through an internship, so that will help tremendously.
Can you utilize that? Okay,
Yeah, that's in the works.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to item number 10, public comment. Adam, are the phones ready to be open? The phones are open, and the phone number, if you would like to give your comment by telephone, would be 276-333-0357. So the phone is now open, and the floor is also open if anyone is here and would like to make a public comment.
We're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Nobody's complaining.
I'll read the number one more time, and I believe it's scrolling across the screen too if you're watching, but I'll read it again. 276-333-0357, and leave it open another minute or so. I'm with Shelby. I'm gonna take it as a positive sign. We don't have anybody fussing. Y'all wanna close public comment or leave it open a couple more minutes?
I think we go ahead and close it.
Okay, go ahead. If you wanna make a motion.
Do we need a motion to close it? I make a
Yeah.
motion that we go ahead and close public comment.
I'll second that. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Item number 11, David, you touched on this, a little while ago.
Take one question there.
One person that's called in.
Okay, well, I'll back up, if that's okay with the
I heard
board.
the phone ring, I thought it was.
We'll take the call, Adam, as soon as you can get them connected. Okay, hello, please state your name and address, and your 3 minutes will start right now.
Okay, my name is Renita Wallace, and I'm calling from 584 Blowing Rock Road. And I
Yep.
was calling about the road condition.
Yes, ma'am,
I
go
did
ahead.
hear someone in the audience speak about the south of the mountain road, but I couldn't hear exactly what we're talking about, but it was probably the same place I would want you to check into.
Was that near the Walter Bottom area?
Probably. I know that the road has been worked on there some in the past, but, you know, it's deteriorated, and then the road's kind of washed away or something. I don't know exactly what's happening, anyway, it's fallen off.
Yes, ma'am, we are aware of it, and Vdot is aware of it as well. Do you have any other comments on the roads or anything else?
Yes, the road next to the Birch Knob Tower, you know, there's places through there. I know they have been worked in the past that they've deteriorated also. And we kind of know the road, and when we go through there, we try to stay out of the holes. But it needs work done. And also going from Blowing Rock to Skeet Rock Road, because we use both roads to go to Clintwood. The road between there and the Church of the Brethren, the Cumberland Church of the Brethren, there's about 4 or 5 holes that you kind of have to zigzag back and forth to keep from falling in them. But like I said, we know the road, but people that drive through there that don't know, it would be really bad.
Anything else?
No, that's all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night. You too.
Is that it, Adam? Okay. Well, we'll move on then to item number 11A. David?
if you remember, we had a presentation at our workshop back on, maybe November 5th. You heard we're basically up for our health insurance renewal. Basically, all the same terms, all the specs, everything are the same. Our amount has gone down just slightly, so that's a positive thing. Of course, our plan is having another good year. It's had success 3 out of the last 4 years with our health insurance. So tonight, what we need, and I just gave you the handout that we received that day. Your choices are between the 2 columns on the right, which are the renewal RBP, which is what we currently do, which is reference-based pricing. Our reference-based pricing is 140% of Medicaid. And the other option is the Cigna network. This year they've been quoted at the same price, but if you'll remember from the day, the way they explained it to us, you kind of pay a premium to be part of the Cigna network. Therefore, down the road, your reserve, the amount that you potentially could have back as a return for your reserve will be less if you go with Cigna as opposed to the RBP. The committee's recommendation, and again, our insurance committee is made up of a board member. Shelby has served on it for several years. I am on it. Karen is on it. And then we also have representatives from the PSA and also behavioral health, since they are also in our plan. That committee, for the ones that voiced an opinion, their opinion was we felt like staying the course with our reference-based pricing was the better option for now. But again, the board needs to vote on one of these 2 renewals, then we'll notify the insurance company, and therefore we can get all of our paperwork taken care of before January 1st.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we leave our insurance as is and just renew as is without Cigna.
I'll second that.
The performance seemed to be incredible to me. I was frankly surprised, which I know some of it's luck, but that's just
A lot
part
of it's luck, but a lot of it's been, we've put a lot of work into that over the years. A lot of work into our health insurance. And we're going reference-based, had a few hiccups in the beginning, but long-term, we have been able to manage more. We've managed most of it. And I give a lot of credit to Crystal and Karen. They handle a large volume of issues that come up. And also our broker, their office is great to work with, so.
And if you go to Cigna, you have to choose certain doctors to see, and that's the part I don't like.
Cigna will put you back into having in-network versus out-of-network reference-based pricing. There basically is no network. Everything is based off of just 140% of Medicaid price. So.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of renewing with the current insurance policy, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Item number 11B, this was the Cumberland Plateau Waste Management Authority tire cutter device issue. I know that we had been wrestling this bear for a couple of months now. I don't know if anybody's drove down by the transfer station, but we have a mountain of tires there. And the West Virginia place isn't coming to get them. And I frankly don't know what else there is to do but besides buy the machine and move on with it.
I did do a little homework just to give you a kind of a baseline. For the first 5 months this year, we have paid $7,896 for tire removal, which is very much on the high side. Our 5-year average prior to that was $10,935
For the entire year.
for the entire year. So you can see your 5-month totals really creeping up on your normal 12-month total.
I don't know when Mr. Stanley started his business, but I have to think that that's the number one, and that's a good thing. I mean,
You want to be able to put your finger on why.
That has to be it.
Part of the problem this year is we've hauled tires off twice. We've paid premium both times because typical West Virginia tire came, picked it up, that rate was the same, they took them away. We've had to actually pay a local company twice to come pick up tires and take them, so, you know, you've paid a premium twice. And, you know, I discussed this with Toby, Josh, Peggy, I know you're involved, Ron, you've been involved in this. My bottom line to him is we just can't keep paying a premium to take tires out of the county. I mean, it's just kind of blowing.
But we're happy to help a local business guy,
Yeah.
but at the same time, if
And
we
again,
can
this goes
chop them
back
up.
to, if you got a local business that's willing to, you know, and again, we may be seeing new volumes, but my recommendation is, you know, you can't continue to operate the way that we're trying to do it right now.
Well, I just think we have to do it. I mean, I don't know.
Yep.
I drove down there and I couldn't believe the amount of tires down there.
A lot.
And what I don't want to see though is Mr. Stanley, I mean, then tell him we can't take anymore.
Right.
And then what's he gonna do? I mean,
Right.
I don't know.
It's not good for us to be in a situation that we can't accept tires, and we do have, and by law, we are only allowed to have so many on site. And so it does, if we get too much of a backlog waiting, then we can't legally take any more tires, and that creates just problems for all of the sales people and I mean, the ones that sell tires. So
Right, exactly. I mean,
Some-
that's a lot of small business people.
yeah, so you don't want to be burdening people, because then they've got to find a place to store tires while they can't bring them to us. And so we need to take care of something here just to make, let's try something different and see if it works.
Let's make, I make a motion that we.
Mr. Chairman, can I
Yes.
speak just briefly?
Yes, go ahead.
Please.
Mr. Chairman, sometimes it's always good to slow down and look at things before you make a decision. I think that's what you've done over the last month. Mr. Peters has brought to our attention some issues that we had to research and provide you with a written memorandum of what the exposure would be. I have shared that written memorandum with Russell County and Buchanan County, and also with Toby Edwards, in terms of what my opinions were. And I think based on my recommendations, everybody now understands that there may be some risks that need to be mitigated based on the issues that I outlined. And so there are two parts to this. One is the financial aspect of what's it costing you to dispose of them, and the second is the liability aspect to deal with those individuals who will be shredding those tires. And I think that your folks at the transfer station has an opportunity to either see it work or see it in operation, I believe. Would that be right?
They did.
Correct.
Kevin went to Russell County one day last week, observed their use of the tire cutting machine, and since has reported back that he's much more comfortable with the process.
Just so you know, I requested them to bring him over there back on the 21st of October, and I had to remind through the chairman Monday of last week.
Good.
But in terms of liability, if the county, Russell County, Buchanan County, Dixon County follows the protocol that I outlined to you in terms of the training, in terms of the protective equipment, in terms of supervision, it substantially lessens any liability that you may have at these transfer stations. And I know Ms. Patton, I talked to her from Russell County particularly, and she agrees, had not thought about it in terms of the extent that apparently I had, and she understands probably more clearly now. That's why you need some supervision and selection of those people who will be using that tire shredder. And so hopefully your county administrator can work with your folks and make sure that they're following the legal recommendations to lessen your responsibility for any injuries. And so I think, Mr. Peters, I think bringing the subject up, getting us to think about it and to get this issue resolved in a timely manner, I think the time has been helpful to do that.
Anybody have any further questions? You had a motion, Ms. Sluss, if you want to.
Motion who purchased the tire cutter? Toby, us, what?
That'll be done through the authority.
So
Through
the
the
gist,
authority,
so the
my
gist,
motion should say, we give them the
through the
the
surplus
authority to
monies.
purchase the tire cutter?
Essentially, it would be that they just
Keep the
keep the surplus
You're
money.
you're authorizing the authority to use Dickinson County surplus to purchase the tire cutting machine for use at our
Well,
transfer
I
station.
think I make a motion that we authorize the authority to keep the money to purchase a tire shredder,
Better.
cutter. The shredder's supposed to come next year.
There's a potential to upgrade the equipment possibly to do more, but
The
for now, we're
rims.
basically dealing with passenger tires with no rims to cut them so they can be put into the.
Well, and I can
the
explain
landfill.
that. The plan is this year, Russell and Dickinson gets this machine. But Cannon got a different thing. They fabricated a tire shear, because they already had a tire cutter. Next year's plan will be to take the surplus and purchase a shear for the Russell and Dickinson, and then we could, I think, potentially also, I think we will end up buying a tire cutter like what we own, what we bought from the two counties. We'll buy that for mechanics. There's an older machine and stuff that they just happen to have. We used to have a tire cutter here, and it was cumbersome, I guess. I never seen it used. I think it ended up getting sold because at like a surplus sale or something.
I'll make that motion.
There a second?
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Move on to item number 12. Mr. Phillips, do you have anything to add on that?
No additional comments at this point. I think it's something, in my opinion, that the county needs to adopt in order to protect your members, to allow for emergency virtual meetings without a quorum being present in one location.
I make a motion that we adopt this ordinance.
There a second?
I second it.
Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Item number 13. Mr. Phillips again.
Basically, it's a resolution outlining the basis and the reasons why you need to adopt the ordinance.
Is there any questions on this? If not, entertain a motion. Floor is open for a motion.
I make a motion that we adopt this resolution also.
Is there a second?
Second it.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
As well. And item number 14, we had discussed this a little bit, I think, at our prior meeting. Mr. Compton desires to not be reappointed, is my understanding, to the Planning Commission. And I believe Mr. Peters had thought these were district appointments, but I don't believe that's right. Is
No,
that-
it doesn't make sense because there's two Irvingtons, but I
Right,
thought
right.
they were initially. Because I was asked to be on it initially as a Sand Lake person.
Does anybody
That's why I thought that.
have any names they'd like to submit for motions?
Matthew Dingus? is
I
he
tried to
gonna-
call Matthew Dingus today to see if he was interested, but he never did call me back.
I got somebody, it's not Stephen Baker, he's real interested in the county, seems like, and he's started a little business there, the greenhouse. I'm not formally submitting his name yet, but that's a name that I thought of, somebody that's kind of younger and interested. He's the same age as me, but takes an interest, and I thought about submitting his name. I don't know if anybody
So
else.
you haven't asked him if he takes?
I tried to text him today, and it's about like Peggy yet here, didn't get a
No way.
reply, so
We're not in no rush on this.
I'm confident he would
They
serve if
haven't-
selected, but
We actually were going to convert over, we typically had been doing our planning commission meetings every 2 months on the even months. I think it works better for a lot of scheduling for us to go to the odd months. So actually, we were going to delay our first 2021 meeting, it'll be January. So if you set somebody in December, they still have plenty of time to participate in the January meeting. So there's not a
have these
meeting
people
between now and
served.
January the
I
4th.
just-
Since we're discussing this at length, I want to bring something up to you guys. And I'll have to, I was the one that did this, and now I'm gonna have to ask, and we'll have to wait and see. But, on the planning commission, when I was first put on it, they were paid a $50 stipend for the meetings they attended, each meeting. Now, we weren't doing a lot, so when we hit the budget crunch in June, or 2016,
Stopped it.
we did away with that stipend and some other things. And I was also a fan not to bring it back. because we weren't utilizing this form that well. We gotta come up with a way that we utilize this form. But I'm only gonna bring this up, and this is not because I'm on it. You may wanna consider, you don't have to give me nothing for it, but you may wanna, we look in the budget, because you wanna give them something to motivate them to come to the meetings too.
I
And
totally agree.
participate.
I don't get nothing for VC
No, I know you don't, but I'm just saying.
then. Man, that's a rough meeting too.
But that's something for you to consider
Well,
coming up.
and the
Ought to get
consideration
paid.
for that, you're on
I
there doing
figured out
being
they had so
board
much
member.
money over
Yeah,
there.
I
That's what I
Hey,
figured
no,
too.
you
Okay.
shouldn't.
So you've got
Oh, you give you
5
money.
citizens.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you
yeah.
do
They
$50
only feed the
per
So
executive.
meeting.
you're suggesting maybe table it one more time, David?
Yeah, I
I
was
didn't
just
mean to
thinking.
throw you off.
Sit there
Yeah.
all
No, I was
day.
just thinking $1,500
They get
would
fed
Give you a little
allow them to
candy,
pay for
throw you a
6
little
meetings,
candy.
Yeah, I
five
don't
citizens
need
at
anything.
$50 a pop.
I could've told
But
you,
I,
Rhonda, but
if you
you
don't
weren't.
have any
Well, I
vacancies
thought they was
left, you
better.
may have
I've
time to wait till
learned a
December
lesson
and do
about
this,
that bunch.
so.
We can table it another month.
Yeah, we should.
You're
table
not
it
missing
now.
anything.
You want to
But I
make a
wanted to
motion,
mention
David?
that, plant that seed for you to think
fact, we
about
have
for
a
those
meeting this
citizens.
week.
Actually, I think it's a
Yeah.
nice incentive.
Thursday.
Mr. Chairman, let's table that till December if that's okay. I'll
Yes,
make a
ma'am.
motion to that effect.
Is there a second?
And I'll second it.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. I think that's probably the right thing. All right, now we'll move on to item number 15. We have some matters we need to take up in closed session. Do I hear a motion? Go into closed
I'll
session.
make a motion that we go into closed session pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A, 1, and it's 8. A, Section 2.2-3111, I, personnel, and 1, all departments. Is there any more?
There's B section.
And then I got a B section here. B section 2.2-311A8, consultation with legal counsel and People Incorporated Daycare Center.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We now come out of closed session. Do I hear a certification for matters closed, discussed in closed session? A certification.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we only discuss those items that we previously went into closed session for.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Ms. Willis, how do you vote on this?
Aye.
Ms. Sluss?
Aye.
Ms. Kaiser?
Aye.
Mr. Peters?
Aye.
And aye for me as well. I move on to item number 16, or excuse me, item 17. For any motions to be made on matters discussed in closed session.
Mr. Chairman, the first motion I'd like to make is to bump Michael Shields a one-time $2,000 for his certification at the transfer station.
I will second that. Michael is in my district.
Any further discussion or questions on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well.
And Mr. Chairman, I have another motion. The motion to give the head office, which is Kansas Wallace and Tabitha Mullins, from the Virginia Housing where they filled all their vouchers quickly, give them a one-time bonus of Kansas $1,000 and Tabitha $500 out of the Virginia Housing funds that they got.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye also.
And Mr. Chairman, I have two more motions. The next motion is that during all this COVID thing, and we've looked at some of the employees that are kind of irreplaceable, we would like to give a $500 increase in salary effective
5,000, sweetie.
5,000, yeah, 5,000, wait a minute now, $5,000 salary increase effective January the 1st of 2021 for Teresa Lyle, Jeremy Mullins, Adam Mullins, and Karen Fuller.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? I'll just say, for the public's knowledge, these salaries are way below
What they
private
should be.
market value.
Even within our own county.
Karen has been here 13 years. Teresa's been here over 20 years. And with their skill level and experience, if they chose a private sector job, they would make much more money
Twice as much.
and have a lot better financial opportunity. And they all do a great job for us. So
And this is a way of us just saying that we appreciate what you've done through all these hard times that we've been through.
So we have a motion, and I believe Ms. Kaiser seconded it. Is that correct?
Yes, I second it.
Any further discussion or comment? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well.
Mr. Chairman, there's one more motion, I'll make it. And this is a sad one to make. I make a motion that we accept Mr. Moore's resignation effective December 15th of 2020.
Is there a second?
You were here with us then, David.
I don't know how that works out.
Well, if that is something that he has chosen, I do not know that it came from any pressure from any of us board. So I will second your motion because that is your desire.
Any further discussion?
I hate to see him go. And I wish him well.
Me too.
I wish him well. I wish you
agree.
Godspeed, which means God go with God.
Anything else? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as
I'm
well.
gonna say no, but
Okay,
I
I'm sorry.
respect your decision. I understand.
I'm okay with that.
Motion's 4-1. Mr. Peters saying no. And is there any other matters coming out of closed session?
That was all I had, Mr. Chairman.
I believe that's all I had as well. Were we missing anything? Okay. Move on to item 18, the rescheduling of the December meeting to December 15th at 6 p.m. Is there any questions or comments on that?
I haven't even looked. I'm good with
It's
it.
a,
Yeah,
Good for-
it's the normal Tuesday, but in order to try to avoid Christmas week, we typically bump that up, but I just wanted to be sure that
No, I'm
nobody else
glad
had
we're
a
doing it.
conflict. just
I make a
because-
motion that we reschedule till December 15th.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. And I guess there's an issue, David, with our payroll, trying to make sure we get that out before the Christmas
Well,
holiday.
typically that holiday, that falls at December 30th, which would mean Karen would have to be here on Christmas Day doing payroll. That's just not acceptable to me as our boss. So we typically try to bump that forward. So I talked to her, the best place for that to slide would be for payroll to be actually direct deposited on December 21st. So they need the authority to move the payroll from the 30th to the 21st.
I'll make a motion, we move the payroll from December 30th to December the 21st,
For a second.
2020.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Item 20, selection of the chairman for the 2021
Mr. Chairman,
term.
I'll make a motion that we put Peggy Kaiser as chairman.
Is there a second?
Mr. Chairman,
Hearing none, the motion will fail.
Are you
Mr.
gonna-
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that you retain the chairmanship for another year.
I'll second that. Have a roll call vote, I guess.
And this is, you've mellowed out a lot.
I
I
appreciate,
wouldn't make that motion,
Ms.
but I
Willis,
think you're doing a great job.
I appreciate it. Ms. Willis, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Ms. Sluss?
I don't know what I'm voting on, but I'm voting
You're voting for him to be chairman?
for Josh to be chairman. Yeah, I'll vote yes.
Ms. Kaiser?
No, not that I don't want you to have it, but, I'll just leave it at that.
Mr. Peters,
No.
I vote yes. So the motion carries 3-2. And I appreciate it, Ms. Wills.
Just from
I didn't know I
just
could
from a
vote
logist,
second myself.
Peggy's motion for you did not get a second. Is
Right,
that
it failed.
why?
That's correct.
Just making sure.
I'm gonna make a, are we ready
See, I
for the
didn't
vice
know.
chairman?
Until
Yes.
he
I'm gonna
seconded
make
his
a
own.
motion that we that Peggy Kaiser be the vice chairman, just like she is now.
Is there a second?
Ron?
Motion,
What?
Well, I'll
I'll make a
second it.
motion for Peggy to be the
I'll
vice chairman.
I'll second it.
Peggy has seconded it.
we have a motion and a second. Ms. Wills, how do you vote?
No,
Ms.
I vote
Sluss?
yes.
Ms. Kaiser?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes.
I'll vote no too. So 3-2, Ms. Kaiser
So
will
those
be the
both were
vice
3-2
chairman.
votes?
Correct.
Okay.
Item number 22, scheduling of the public hearing.
Yeah, VDOT surprised us with this one. They somehow had lost track of where the 6-year plan flows, so we have to actually have a public hearing for that. I'm assuming a rep from Vdot will be here that evening, that we just need that. We've got it scheduled for 15 minutes. It'll probably take more like 4.
30. Oh, you think it'll take longer than that?
VDOT
No, I think
wanting
it'll
to
take
come
about 4. I
here?
think it'll take about 4 minutes.
They always
to do,
come
'cause
for their 6-year
the 6-year
plan.
plan is just one of those. It's kind of an archaic VDOT way of doing roads, but there still is one, and the board still has to hold public hearing and vote one in.
They
So,
wanna come December the 15th? But yeah, sure.
so it'll be, we're just asking for that to be at 5:45 before the December meeting.
Do a motion.
I make a motion that we allow the VDOT to come for their, at 5:45 on December the 15th for the 6-year plan for fiscal years
Second it.
2021, 22, and 25 through 26.
You
I
second,
second
Ms.
the
Wills.
motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Supervisor comments, Ms. Kaiser,
No, I don't think so.
Mr. Peters, Ms. Willis.
It's sad for me to lose David. I've learned to work with him. We don't always agree, but we're still friends. We work through all of our problems together, and like I say, he's never been political. I can say the 13 years I've been here, he's never been political. And I'm going to miss him.
Ms. Sluss.
I'm gonna say the same thing. I appreciate David, and he's very professional. And it's a sad evening, a surprise evening for me. I also want to address the fact that I've been receiving a lot of flack because the annex and the Clintwood High School is being torn down. I am a graduate of Clintwood Elementary. I went there from 1st grade to 7th grade. I'm a graduate of Clintwood High School. It's also sad for me, but no one can take your memories except the good Lord. And no one has made a bid for that. I want people to know that no one has said, we're going to build this, we're going to build that. But we are trying as a board to do the best for everybody in Dickinson County. And since I represent the Clintwood District, there's no backroom deals, people. Don't say that. There's no backroom deals. I would never take a backroom deal. I've never been offered a backroom deal, and none of these people have either. I don't think so. But I just want to say it's sad for me, but, life has to go on, and you can't say, well, she did. I love that I'm a graduate of Clintwood Elementary and Clintwood High School. I'll never forget it. But we have to move forward.
I think the thing with the old building, I'd like to see it stay, but our county could never afford to bring it up to par, up to code. And that was the issue with that building, and it was deteriorating inside really bad.
That's very correct. I said it before I was elected, that if someone could come up with a plan for $8 million to restore the annex and something put there that was profitable, I'm all for it. But as it is, I can't see letting the building sit there and deteriorate. My grandmother, Grace Mullins, went to school there, high school, in 1923. She was one of the first in the classes, so it hurts me, it pains me to see that on Facebook and other things that I don't care or we don't care. Yes, we care. I care for Hayside High School. They have their precious memories. Irvington High School has their precious memories, but they're memories. And you'll have them till you die. I heard this saying one time, we're never far away from our childhood memories. They're carried very gently in our heart. And I carry very gently in my heart the memories from Clintwood Elementary and Clintwood High School. And I'm sure Hayside and Irvington do too. Thank you very much. And I appreciate David. We started out a little rough, but I think that I do respect him, and I think he's done a good job.
As well said, I would echo everything that Miss Willis and Miss Sluss just said. I thought we were our jobs were getting a little easier, I thought.
Yeah, I
but now
thought
it's-
so too. I looked at this, and I thought, boy, this is gonna be easy. This will be
After
snap.
tonight,
I did too. I told Bruce this,
We'll be out of here in an hour.
yep,
we're losing some good people.
yes, we are.
And I don't know really what to say. I'm a little bit surprised on the one hand. And on the other, I've learned to not be surprised by anything in this job too, so I don't know, but I appreciate you all supporting me as chairman again. It's been a really hard year, and it's a hard job. I mean, it's really, all of us have a very hard job. I didn't know that Peggy was wanting the chairmanship. I know it typically, I don't want this to be any kind of divisive thing between us. We really hadn't discussed it, so I don't know. I try to do a good job, try to be fair to everybody, and try to move the agenda along. I didn't do a very good job of it tonight. I thought we tried to move it along and get us out of here because
Well, it is
we
what
all
it
have
is.
families and have to be places. But
I don't have to go
David,
to bed till 3.
10.5 years, it's very impressive. That's a long
I stayed up till
time.
3, like
10 years
3:30
longer than I thought
when
I'd be here.
I went to bed at 1.
You've
last
served
night.
Dickinson County honorably, and
Thank
you should
It's
be
a-
commended for
It's a
that.
tough job.
It is a tough job. You got to deal with people like me and politicians. So I know my wife would definitely say that's not an easy thing. But I feel like we have really dug into the trenches this year and really accomplished, in my opinion, some things I'm very proud of and moved the county forward. You don't have to agree to work together on everything, and I feel like that's what we've done. I feel like we've worked very well together and moved things forward. And with Bud's help, it's just been really, really nice working with you, Bud. And I can't say enough
Yeah, it has been nice working with you.
the impression you've left on me personally and professionally. I can't say enough good things, and how thankful I am to have had you around. For me, just personally, not just the county, but for me personally, it's been a really good thing for me to have you around. So,
You need to learn to emulate his personality.
well, that'll never happen, I don't
Well,
think,
I
but a
know,
little bit.
but you, as a
um,
young man, you can learn
um,
to emulate and be like him.
But you've been good for me though. I wish I could be, but I'm not that nice.
Well,
But
yeah, you can.
but
be.
anyway, it's a long
Chairman,
night.
you're fine
It's-
just like you are. I think you're
The
maturing
older
out
you
and
get,
you're
you'll find it'll
learning,
be
and your
easier.
potential is great, so
I
you'll be
think he's
well.
come a long way in a
He
year.
he has improved vastly. He's
yeah, because-
impulsive, just like I didn't know doodly squat. Somebody asked him, how do
Josh,
you get
you
along?
have
I
to-
said, he's impulsive, but he's got a lot of fight in him.
And I have to say, Josh has been very honest with me on everything I've asked him
Well, I
about.
appreciate it. We got a lot of work ahead of us, so
Yeah, we
and
do.
it's going to be a long winter. But thank you all. Thank you on
I
behalf of
make a
Dickinson
motion,
County.
we adjourn this confounded
Is
meeting.
there a second?
I'll second the motion that we adjourn.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.